This season has been tough for Real Madrid, yet they sit just 2 points behind rivals Barcelona at the top of La Liga, with 11 wins out of 16 matches and a game in hand. However, a narrow 2-1 loss to an in-form Athletic Bilbao was enough to raise alarm bells. Because if there's any club that's always one defeat away from a full-blown crisis, it's Real Madrid. Fast forward a week, and that crisis, along with the aftermath of that humiliating 4-0 defeat at the El Clasico, now feels like a distant memory, thanks in large part to the scintillating form of one standout player, Jude Bellingham. But wait, wasn't he the same underperforming player who endured a 14-game goal drought at the start of the season? On the contrary, this is how Jude Bellingham just turned the tide for Real Madrid's season. After making headlines with his £85 million transfer from Borussia Dortmund last season, Bellingham took La Liga by storm, clinching the division's Player of the Year award and leading Madrid to a remarkable League and Champions League double. His summer at the Euros was equally impressive, highlighted by a stunning bicycle kick that dragged England past Slovakia in the last 16 on their way to the final. But in what was ultimately a disappointing summer for the Three Lions, the debate over Bellingham's best position lingered on, with many Gareth Southgate naysayers pointing to Carlo Ancelotti's effective use of the starman during the previous season. Ancelotti typically deployed the Englishman as the most advanced attacking midfielder in a diamond formation, and this worked to great effect as Bellingham ended the season with 23 goals and 13 assists from 42 matches, gelling superbly with the likes of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. However, this season, he didn't quite hit the ground running like he did last year due to a combination of injury problems and being shuffled around amid Ancelotti's constant tactical tinkering. In the league opener against Mallorca, Ancelotti deployed him in a similar position to last year, but added an extra striker to balance the field and accommodate the attacking talent at his disposal, which now included the newly signed Kylian Mbappe. This system mirrored England's setup over the summer and left Bellingham just as stifled. During the match, he failed to register a single shot and made just 2 key passes as Madrid settled for a disappointing 1-1 draw. The midfielder then suffered a muscle injury that sidelined him for 4 league matches and 2 international fixtures. Unfortunately for him, the worst was yet to come for his form. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future videos. In the weeks following his return from injury, Bellingham was shuffled around the midfield, seemingly used as a utility option to accommodate Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. Much of Ancelotti's tactical uncertainty in the early stages of the season stemmed from the summer retirement of the highly influential Toni Kroos, who had provided unmatched control in midfield while delivering incisive passes to forwards during his successful 10-year career at Madrid. To compensate for Kroos' retirement, Ancelotti moved Bellingham into a deeper role, hoping to recreate that playmaking spark. However, this would prove ineffective as Bellingham has always lacked the varied passing range of Kroos or the aging Luka Modric. Against Espanyol on matchday 6, Bellingham played as a left-sided attacking midfielder in a 4-3-3, but since he was paired with Modric in that role, he often found himself the 5th nearest player to the opposition goal, with Mbappe, Rodrigo, and Arda Güler all in front of him. A similar issue arose in the next match against Alaves, this time with Fede Valverde starting as the right-sided attacking midfielder and Vinicius slotting in for Güler. Bellingham was pushed even further to the periphery 2 games later against Villarreal, starting as a left-sided midfielder in a 4-4-2, while Camavinga and Valverde occupied the center. Then, in the crucial match against Barcelona, he found himself back on the wings, but this time in an unfamiliar role on the right flank. And despite starting as a right-sided midfielder, his average position during the match was deeper than that of Madrid's right-back, Lucas Vázquez, due to the latter's defensive shortcomings. In that game, Bellingham managed just 31 touches and completed only 13 passes in a lackluster performance, failing to improve on his dismal tally of 0 goals and 2 assists for the season as Madrid collectively reached a new low. To watch our video on why Real Madrid have struggled this season, click the first link in the description or the card in the top right corner. After the El Clasico debacle, Ancelotti, a veteran of 5 Champions League titles, had learned his lesson and repositioned his most influential creator back in the center of the pitch against Osasuna. The result was a 4-0 rout, Madrid's biggest win of the season, and a classic Bellingham display where he enjoyed the freedom to roam into space and bag a goal and an assist. Considering that goal finally broke his 14-game goal drought, little did anyone expect this to mark the beginning of his current hot run of form. A similar role worked perfectly for him in the following match against Leganes, where the 21-year-old popped up everywhere, but focused heavily on the area just outside the 18-yard box. It's worth noting that Bellingham wasn't the only player central to his and Real Madrid's revival, with Camavinga providing a steadying presence just behind him, which had been missing earlier in the season while the Frenchman was out injured. Meanwhile, the duo of Vinicius and Mbappe began to show signs of gelling, creating ample space for Bellingham to create chances and exploit. But ultimately, the English sensation remained at the heart of it all. Jude was on fire, and so were Los Blancos. Yet, Ancelotti inexplicably decided to shuffle the deck for an away match against an in-form Athletic Bilbao. Yes, despite Bellingham's 5 goal involvements in 3 games, he was moved back to the left wing after Camavinga and Vinicius were sidelined due to injuries. Bilbao had enjoyed a strong start to the season, winning 9 matches and climbing to 4th place in La Liga. However, Madrid still had more than enough firepower to overcome them, unless they nerfed their best performer by playing him on the flanks. Sigh. It's not as if the Englishman's importance to the side is a secret. In the aftermath of their eventual 2-1 defeat to Bilbao, Madrid fans had expressed their frustration with Ancelotti's puzzling tactics. Yet, just 6 days later, the hysteria had died down, and it was abundantly clear which tactical tweak had triggered the latest renaissance. Handed a free roll from the outset against Girona, Bellingham delivered what could be considered his finest performance of the campaign, as he slotted home a sweet strike, set up Güler for the second, and made 3 key passes, all in just 61 minutes. Then, in a daunting away clash against Serie A leaders Atalanta in the Champions League, and with their knockout round qualification on the line, Real put on a season-defining show. Bellingham, needless to say, appeared everywhere and bagged Madrid's 3rd with a well-placed shot into the bottom corner, hauling his side out of another debacle and continuing his own impressive resurgence. The winning formula for Real is clear: place last year's player of the season where he can cause the most damage, and that is exactly what he'll do. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to hit notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.